entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Dr. Amanda, and you're in the right place if you're a growth-minded entrepreneur who's ready to align your energy, mindset, and habits to get what you want in life and business. That is so my jam. Today we're going to have a lot of fun talking about procrastination because this is one of the biggest issues that I see entrepreneurs facing. And I'd say it's probably one of the biggest issues that I get people reaching out to me to get help with, where they go, I say I want this thing, and yet I can't seem to get myself to take action. And that's really what procrastination is. So today I'm going to give you 3 strategies to break through procrastination to get more done in your business. And when I say get more done, it's not busy work. It's not, oh, let's just be productivity busy people. It's about being high ROI with your actions and doing things that lead to fulfillment and freedom in your business. So all the actions you're taking are filled with purpose and meaning and instilled or infused with your why. And that's one of the reasons we procrastinate. So let's break this down. First, let's talk a little bit about procrastination and why it's so sneaky. I use this word sneaky because I was thinking about the ways that we can pretend we're doing something productive, but in actuality, we're procrastinating. So this typically would look something like learning. And I think of this as procrasti-learning, where you would be thinking, I need to take another course to learn this thing before I can get started on promoting my program or my product or my service. And I really want you to question your intention behind that, because sometimes, you need to learn more. And I'm an advocate for learning, so I don't think you should ever stop learning in terms of your areas of expertise. Like, enjoy learning. You're always going to keep learning. You're going to keep crafting and honing your skill. And if you are using learning as a way to avoid doing something else in your business, then it's probably a version of procrastination. And so as smart people, we can use this avoidance strategy of learning and say that it's good for us. And realistically, deep down, we know that we're procrastinating. And so a way to detect the difference is to go, okay, at the end of the day, am I looking at what I did and feeling high vibe about it? Am I feeling like, yes, I did what I said I was going to do? Or at the end of the day, are you sitting at your desk looking at what you did and going, there are several things on my list that I didn't check off because I got lost down many wormholes, potentially of learning and doing other things, maybe getting on social media longer than I needed to and making excuses about why that was so. Sometimes it could be cleaning things in your house or having unexpected meetings that pop in or unexpected distractions that pop in. All of those are signs that you're procrastinating, because when you are a master of your time and you're highly focused, you'll notice that things don't get overlooked and you will end up doing everything that's on your list of to-dos. And the reason for that is because the things that are on your list are going to be high vibe, focused, intentional, inspired, and you're going to know that those are the things that are going to get you results. And so you're automatically, when you set your day up with power, you are already setting yourself up to be in inspired action instead of stuck in procrastination. So realistically, I see people procrastinating for these reasons. One, there's a lack of a plan. So they don't really know what to do. And so that lack of focus causes scattered energy and causes them to focus on too many things. And when you're focused on too many things, it's hard to know where to start. And so I really think of this as a lack of a plan. It could also be fear and imposter syndrome. So sometimes we procrastinate because we're afraid that we're not going to get the outcome that we're expecting. And so procrastination avoids the pain of our perceived failure. So we go, oh my God, I don't think I can pull this off. And so if I don't take action or I don't put in my full energy or effort, then it doesn't matter if I fail because I can always go back and say I didn't really try that hard. So that could be a version of procrastinating. Like I just talked about earlier, learning. So let's say that you have fear and imposter syndrome. You might think, oh my God, I got to learn more. That way I'll know enough, or I'll know everything, and it'll be perfect when people start to ask me questions in my area that I'm helping them. And so that could show up as a version of procrastination. And then the third one, and this one to me is the most interesting because this one is the one that solves all versions of procrastination and all reasons for procrastination. It's that people aren't aligned with their zone of genius and their highest values. And what I mean by this is that if you don't really know why you're doing something and it doesn't feel aligned with your highest inspirations, you will be more distracted, less focused, less confident, more fear-based, more easily dissuaded or distracted, let's say. You will notice fear coming up when you're not sure why you're doing what you're doing. And this is really interesting because it's almost like we get stuck in this loop where we go, I don't know what I want, and then I get afraid to take action, and then that degrades my confidence, and then I want to take less action because I feel like a failure, and this continues the procrastination cycle. So if you notice on the cover of the podcast, Inner Power Entrepreneur, it says, know who you are, know what you want, know how to get there. It's exactly what I'm talking about here when I say you're going to procrastinate if you're not aligned with your zone of genius and your highest values, because you knowing who you are and knowing what you want requires that you get really connected with your zone of genius and your highest values and the reasons why you're doing what you're doing. If you don't know why you're building a business and you're not sure why you're helping people the way that you do, and you don't know your long-term vision and you're afraid to look at those things, or you get confused or scattered, it's going to lead to scattered results. And procrastination is a huge contributing factor to scattered results, because obviously if you get up every day and you're not taking inspired action, you're procrastinating and hesitating, how can you get focused results? People who are laser focused, part of the reason they're able to do that is because they know exactly what they want. And now let's tie this back to manifestation. Remember, my 3-step manifestation formula is: number 1, you've got to decide with certainty and clarity what you want. That's knowing who you are, and that's knowing what you want. Then you take steps in the direction, and that's you not procrastinating, right? Action, action, action. You're in action. And what this does is signals to the universe to open up doors of opportunity. So number 1, decide with certainty and clarity what you want. Step 2, take steps in the direction of what you want. Step 3, let the universe bring you the opportunities and the ways to fulfill your goal, right? So procrastination muddles all of that and causes you to have scattered results because you're wavering. You haven't even decided what you want with clarity when you're procrastinating. I always know that when someone comes to me and says that they're procrastinating, I'm already aware that they're not clear on what they want and that they don't believe it's possible. Because if you believed with 100% certainty that what you want is possible, you would automatically take action. Always remember this: action is evidence of belief. Action is evidence of belief. So procrastination is evidence of disbelief, right? Procrastination is evidence of scattered thinking. Procrastination is evidence of a lack of clarity. Procrastination is evidence that you have fear and imposter syndrome going on. So let's solve these problems for you through these 3 strategies that I want to break down for you today. Number 1, in order to stop procrastinating so you can get more done and fulfill your vision, you must strengthen your why. Okay. What this means is that you've got to start to journal on, why do I care about the outcome? Why do I care about helping people? A really powerful strategy here along this line of strengthening your why is to write down 25 reasons you enjoy being an entrepreneur and helping people. I love doing this with my clients because when we start to talk about why they care about entrepreneurship and they start to, it's like, I almost think of it as getting re-entangled or entanglement with your why. You want to be entangled with your why because that energy leads to a blissed out relationship that causes you to be propelled into action. Because when you wake up in the morning on fire and inspired by your why, I think of your why as an inspirational force or an inspirational fire. you wake up automatically rearing to go. You're like, oh yeah, I can't wait to take action because I know exactly what my vision is. And so vision-based action is always going to be easier than outside motivation and shooting yourself by cracking the whip and forcing yourself to do things. Notice in those two, one is force and one is flow. In the forced state, you're going to procrastinate and hesitate, and it's going to take everything 10 times as long to do because you're shooting yourself into action. You're telling yourself, I should do this, I should do that, I have to do this, I have to do that. And if you hear yourself saying things like that, you are not clear about your why, and you don't believe it's possible to get what you want. And so you want to start raising your conscious clarity around why you're doing what you're doing. So write a benefits list or a 25 reasons why list. So 25 reasons why I care about being an entrepreneur. And this will start to shift you into inspired action because you'll go, oh yeah, I remember why I chose to do this. I remember how much I'm driven toward freedom and flexibility and setting my own hours and having no cap on my income and helping a number of people in the world and teaching my kids how to build businesses they love or lives they love. And on and on and on, right? Like, get inspired by your why. Write down very clearly why you are building a business. Why do you love being an entrepreneur? So that's a really simple strategy. If you're sitting at your desk and you're noticing yourself procrastinate, just start writing 25 reasons why you love being an entrepreneur. You could equally write down 25 reasons why you know your product or service helps people. This will also get you inspired into action. So what you're doing in both of those scenarios and journaling strategies is that you're raising your conscious awareness to believe in the possibility of creating that which you say you want. And then that gets you into inspired action automatically. Going back to what I said earlier, your action is evidence of belief. So if you believe in your why and you're connected to your why, you're entangled with your why, you're going to get into automatic action instead of procrastinating. That's an easy strategy. Try it out. Let me know how it goes. Okay, number 2. So this is the second strategy to break through procrastination. I want you to break down a task or the task into the tiniest part possible. So remember I said that one of the reasons that we procrastinate is because we don't have a plan. I think I could equally say that your plan is too big and it seems out of reach. Or so you might have set too big of a goal, or you might have too big of a project. And so it's hard for you to reverse engineer what you're supposed to do today, or what would be the most high ROI action today. And so you sit there and it's almost like, think about your desk and think about you having your desk covered in stuff everywhere and you don't even know where to start to organize it. And so you just kind of sit there and stare at it like deer in the headlights style, and you're not sure what action to take. The best thing to do in that scenario would be to go, okay, what's the first thing I can do right now to clean my desk? And just start there. Maybe you have 5 cups of water on your desk, so you take the 5 cups of water to the kitchen. Maybe you have several files or books, and so you start stacking your books on the bookshelf. Same exact thing in our business. It feels overwhelming sometimes because it's a huge long-term, lifelong project to build a business, and we don't always know where to begin. So the thing I want you to do here is ask yourself, as you're breaking down the task into the tiniest possible step, ask yourself, what's the next best first step I can take right now? Okay, so just ask yourself, okay, what's one thing I can do right now that's getting me on the way to the goal? Okay, so what's the next best first step? And when I say this, this could be something like, let's say one of my goals that I've actually had for a really long time, and I'm just coming back to it. I've been doing a whole bunch of energy work around setting bigger goals because there for a while I got discouraged. I set a goal that I thought I was going to get to 7 figures in 3 years. Here I'm in year 5 and I'm not at 7 figures. And I kind of gave up on it in the last few years. I was like, I'm going to set inspirational manifestation-based goals. I'm not going to have a number attached to it because it was freaking me out and it was causing me not to procrastinate. I don't have a huge issue with procrastination because I'm so clear on my long-term why, but I got small thinking in terms of the 7 figures. And so it caused me to hesitate. I wouldn't say procrastinate, but I'd say hesitate. And so as I started to break it down and go, okay, if right now I'm sitting at my desk and I'm thinking, I got to build a 7-figure business tomorrow, it feels overwhelming. If I go, okay, let's break this down into tiny parts. What's one thing I can do today that helps me be on the way to building a 7-figure business? And then I can start to take action from that place. Anytime that you feel confused and you're stuck in inaction, you want to break it down and you want to make it really clear. So it would even be, this would be in addition to this, what's one next step I can take in the next hour? And just start there, okay? Then once that hour's up, you go, what's the next step I can take in this next hour? And then you take that step. And so breaking it down causes your brain to be able to solve the problem. Remember, your brain is a problem-solving operating system. So when you plug a good question into it, it will give you a clear output. So the simpler the question, the simpler the answer. I like to think about this as, when we use AI, if you plug in a really simple, straightforward, direct question, it'll pump out an awesome answer. If you put in a confusing question that isn't clear and not easily definable, it will pump out a confusing answer. And that's exactly how our brain works. And that's part of the reason we procrastinate. Things just feel too big and confusing. And so you've got to narrow it down and ask simpler questions and take smaller steps. So for me, on my way to 7 figures, because one of my biggest goals, like a lifelong goal for me, is to impact a minimum of 5 million people through my company. And so to do that, if I thought I had to accomplish that today, I would be freaked out and maybe I would go into a state of procrastination. Instead, I go, hey, that's my lifelong vision. And I am 100% certain that at some point I will build a 7-figure business because I'm on track for that. I'm taking the exact same steps that successful people do who build 7-figure businesses. So there's absolutely no reason I'm not going to get there. So there's no need to freak myself out and beat myself up and get stuck in a spiral of procrastination. Instead, I just go, okay, I'm on my way to that. What's one next step I can take today? What's one next step I can take this week? What am I going to do to fulfill that vision in this month, right? And so just break it down and then start taking the steps. Number 3, you must change your identity, okay? So if you're a person who says to yourself, I'm such a procrastinator, I have such a problem with procrastinating, you are reinforcing that identity, and that's the outcome you're going to keep getting. So let's reframe it. I want you to ask yourself, what would a blank do? And in this case, we're talking about procrastination. So you'd go, what would a person who takes action every day do right now? Okay. What would a person who takes action every day do right now? And then do it. Okay. Another way to frame this, and I love this, I got this out of James Clear's Atomic Habits books. He says to write down, I'm the kind of person who blank. So in this case, for procrastination, we would say, I am the kind of person who takes action every day. I'm the kind of person who makes an easy to follow plan every morning. I'm the kind of person who takes the next best step right now. I'm the kind of person who, and you can tie this back to your ultimate why, builds a successful business over time. I'm the kind of person who impacts millions, thousands, whatever the number is for you, through my business. I'm the kind of person who builds my wealth strategically. I'm the kind of person who gets paid to do what I love. I'm the kind of person who enjoys making money from my home in a state of freedom and flow and flexibility and fun. You get the gist of this, right? So I'm the kind of person who, and the reason this is so powerful is because it's an identity shift. So I always teach that we must do our lives and our businesses from a model of be, do, have, because your inner world reflects to your outer world. So when you look at your outer world and you go, what's going on in my outer world? and you see it and you like it, then you're like, oh yeah, my inner world is aligned because my outer world is reflecting my inner world. If you are a person who's looking at your outer world and going, crap, I'm procrastinating, I'm hesitating, I'm feeling stuck and frustrated, then you know that you must change what's within. You've got to change your identity and your state of being. And so when you say things like, I'm the kind of person who blank, you can use it as a reframe to set your aspirational identity and code your brain with, or reprogram your brain, let's say, with who you choose to become. And that's going to help you get different results. So let's recap. 3 strategies to break through procrastination to get more done in your business. Number 1, strengthen your why. You're going to write 25 reasons why you enjoy being an entrepreneur. Number 2, break down the task into the tiniest step possible. And when you're doing this, just ask yourself, what's the next best first step I can take right now or in the next hour? And then take it. And then number 3, change your identity. So stop telling yourself you're a procrastinator and instead reprogram and reframe toward, I'm the kind of person who takes action to get results. And start playing with this. And you want to repeat to reprogram. So the things that I just taught you today, these 3 strategies, you want to do these on repeat so that you can reprogram yourself away from being someone who procrastinates to somebody who takes action to get results. And the cool thing about this is anyone can reprogram themselves. You're no different than me. I'm no different from you. We can all decide, commit, and take strategic action to get results. We can all build 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever figure business you want to build. That's up to you. You can be wildly successful when you apply strategy and systems. And always remember, that is what I teach on this podcast and in anything that I do in coaching. I'm teaching really law of attraction systems. Training your state of being for new results is a systematic approach to harnessing the power of the law of attraction in a systematic way. And that's what we want to be doing if we want different results. All right. I love being with you here. Thank you so much. I enjoy this so very much. I love sitting at my desk and coming up with new ways to teach you how to thrive because this is a win-win for me. So thank you for being here. I look forward to hearing from you and how this episode goes for you. Try out these strategies and let me know. Just DM me at Inner Power Daily. I'm most active on Instagram. And so just DM me there and let me know how it's going for you. I love to hear from my people and know that these strategies are bringing you value. And until next time, I'm sending you giant hugs and inner power high fives.